There is a moment every single morning that most people completely ignore. It lasts less than half a minute. It feels harmless, routine, automatic, but inside your body, in that exact window, something extremely precise and extremely dangerous is happening. And if you get that moment wrong, your heart pays the price. Not later, not years from now, right then, right in that fragile transition between sleep and wakefulness. What I'm about to show you is not dramatic advice. It's not a complicated lifestyle overhaul. It's not something you need to buy. It's a sequence, a small chain reaction that begins the second your brain wakes up. And for millions of people, that chain reaction ends in a hospital room or worse. I've spent over 2 decades studying cardiovascular behavior during sleep-wake transitions, and I can tell you something with absolute certainty. Most heart attacks don't begin during stress at work. They don't begin during exercise. They don't begin after a heavy meal. They begin quietly, in the morning, before the day even starts. And the reason is not what most people think. Let me explain something that almost nobody talks about. When you are asleep, your body is not inactive. It's regulated. Your heart slows down. Your blood pressure drops. Your nervous system shifts into recovery mode. Your blood vessels relax. This is the only period in the entire day when your cardiovascular system gets true relief. But then something happens. About 45 to 60 minutes before you wake up, your body begins preparing you for consciousness. And it does this by releasing hormones. 2 in particular, cortisol and adrenaline. These are not bad hormones. They are essential. They wake you up. They sharpen your mind. They prepare your body to move. But they also do something else. Something far more aggressive than most people realize. They constrict your blood vessels. They increase your heart rate. They raise your blood pressure. And they do all of this rapidly, almost like flipping a switch. Now here's where things become dangerous. If your arteries are flexible, if your circulation is smooth, if your blood is flowing easily, your body handles this transition without issue. But if there is stiffness in your arteries, if there is hidden plaque, if your blood is thicker than it should be, that sudden surge becomes stress, mechanical stress, pressure against vessel walls, pressure against areas that may already be vulnerable. And when pressure hits vulnerability, something breaks. Not always visibly, not always immediately, but biologically, the damage begins. Now I want you to think about what you normally do when you wake up. Not what you think you do, what you actually do. The alarm goes off, your eyes open, and almost instantly, you move. You reach for your phone. You sit up quickly. You swing your legs over the side of the bed. You stand. All within seconds. It feels natural, efficient, normal. But from a cardiovascular standpoint, that sequence is chaos. Because in that exact moment, your body is already under hormonal pressure. And then you add gravity. When you are lying down, your blood is evenly distributed. Your heart doesn't have to fight gravity to circulate it. But the second you stand, everything changes. Blood rushes downward, toward your legs, toward your abdomen, away from your brain. And your heart has to react instantly. It has to pump harder, faster, more aggressively to maintain circulation. In a healthy, responsive system, this adjustment happens smoothly. But in a system that is even slightly compromised, the response is delayed, and that delay creates instability. Blood pressure drops suddenly, then spikes. Heart rate fluctuates. The rhythm becomes less controlled. And if there is already stress from the hormonal surge, that instability becomes dangerous. This is why so many people experience that brief moment of dizziness when they stand up in the morning, that slight fog, that gray-out sensation. Most people ignore it. They assume it's normal. It's not. It's your body telling you the system didn't adjust properly. And here's what makes this even more serious. During the night, you are not drinking water. You are losing fluid through breathing, through skin evaporation, through normal metabolic processes. By morning, your body is slightly dehydrated, and that dehydration changes your blood. It becomes thicker, more viscous, harder to move. Imagine trying to push syrup through a narrow tube instead of water. That's what your heart is dealing with. And thicker blood does something else. It increases the likelihood of clot formation. Now combine everything we've just talked about: hormonal surge, vessel constriction, increased heart rate, thicker blood, sudden standing, gravity shift, delayed vascular response, all happening at once, within seconds of waking up. That is not a gentle transition. That is a perfect storm. And this is exactly why cardiovascular events cluster in the early morning hours. It's not coincidence, it's physiology. I want to tell you about something I've seen more times than I can count. Someone goes to bed feeling completely fine, no chest pain, no warning signs, no indication that anything is wrong. They wake up, they start their normal routine, and within minutes, something happens. A sudden collapse, a sharp pain, a loss of consciousness. And when you trace it back, when you look at the timeline, it always points to the same window. That first minute after waking, the transition, the moment nobody thinks about. Now here's the part that changes everything. This is not something you need medication for. This is not something that requires equipment. This is not something complicated. It is something you control completely. And it comes down to what you do before your feet touch the floor. Because if you slow down that transition, if you guide your body through it instead of forcing it, you remove the stress. You stabilize the system. You give your heart time to adjust. And when you do that consistently, you dramatically reduce the strain your cardiovascular system experiences every single morning. But most people never learn this. They are told to exercise. They are told to eat better. They are told to take medication if needed, all of which matter. But no one talks about the first 30 seconds of the day, the moment that sets everything in motion, the moment where risk is either increased or reduced. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you next, because there is a simple sequence, a specific order of actions that changes everything about how your body handles that morning surge. It takes less than 2 minutes. It costs nothing. And once you understand why it works, you will never go back to rushing out of bed again. Before I explain it, I want you to think about something. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything, before you move, before you reach for your phone, just notice your body. Notice your breathing. Notice your heartbeat. Notice how still everything is. That stillness is not accidental. It's protective. And the biggest mistake most people make is breaking that protection too quickly. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to move through that transition safely, what to do first, what to avoid completely, and the one simple habit that changes how your heart responds for the rest of the day. What I'm about to show you now is simple, but do not confuse simple with insignificant, because this sequence changes the way your heart experiences the most dangerous moment of the day. And once you understand it, it becomes impossible to ignore. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, nothing changes externally. Same room, same bed, same routine waiting for you. But internally, everything will be different. Because instead of reacting automatically, you will move deliberately. And that is what protects your heart. The first step begins before you even think about getting up. When your eyes open, do nothing. Stay exactly where you are. This is the part most people get wrong. They think action equals productivity. They think moving quickly means starting the day right. But in this moment, speed is the problem. Your body is already transitioning. Hormones are rising. Blood pressure is increasing. Your heart is preparing for movement. And if you add movement too quickly, you amplify that stress. So instead, you pause, just for a few seconds, and you breathe, not casually, not distracted, deliberately. Slow inhale through your nose, hold for a moment, then a controlled exhale through your mouth, and you repeat that 3 times. That's it, 3 breaths. Now here is why this matters more than it sounds. That controlled breathing activates a different branch of your nervous system, the parasympathetic system, the one responsible for calm, regulation, stability. It counterbalances the surge of adrenaline and cortisol that is already happening. It doesn't stop it, but it smooths it. It prevents that sharp spike that creates pressure inside your vessels. You are essentially telling your body, don't rush, stay controlled, stay stable, and your heart responds to that signal immediately. Now, after those 3 breaths, most people would move to the next step quickly. But this is where the second element comes in, hydration. Before you stand up, before your feet touch the ground, you drink water. And I don't mean a sip, I mean a full glass, room temperature, right there next to your bed. This is one of the most overlooked habits in modern routines. People wake up and go straight to coffee, or they delay hydration until later. But by then, the damage from dehydration has already influenced your circulation. During the night, your body loses fluid. That is unavoidable. And by morning, your blood is slightly thicker. Not enough for you to feel it, but enough for your heart to notice. And when your heart is already dealing with hormonal pressure and vessel constriction, thicker blood adds resistance. More effort per beat, more strain on the system. Drinking water immediately begins correcting that. It dilutes the blood, improves flow, reduces viscosity, and most importantly, it reduces the likelihood of clot formation during that high-risk window. Now think about how powerful that is. Before you even stand up, you've already reduced two major risk factors: hormonal spike and blood thickness, without medication, without effort, just awareness. Now comes the step that changes everything about how your body handles gravity. You don't stand up. Not yet. You turn to your side, slowly. You use your arm to support yourself, and you sit up gently. Now you are sitting on the edge of your bed. Your feet are hanging down, and you stay there for about 20 to 30 seconds. This is where your body recalibrates. Your circulation adjusts. Your blood begins redistributing gradually instead of all at once. And while you're sitting there, you do something small that makes a big difference. You move your ankles. Slow circles, 5 in one direction, 5 in the other. This activates what's called the muscle pump. The muscles in your lower legs contract slightly and push blood back toward your heart. Instead of letting it pool in your legs when you stand, you are helping your circulation prepare, not forcing it to react. Now, after those 20 to 30 seconds, you stand up. But even here, you don't rush. You rise slowly. You keep your posture steady. And once you're standing, you pause again, just for a few seconds, before taking your first step. That entire sequence takes less than 2 minutes. But in those 2 minutes, you have completely changed the stress pattern on your heart. You've reduced the spike, stabilized circulation, improved blood flow, and eliminated the sudden shock that most people put their cardiovascular system through every single morning. Now, I want to tell you something important. This is not theory. This is not a nice idea. This is something that has been observed repeatedly in real people. People who changed nothing else. Same diet, same medication, same lifestyle. But they changed this one sequence, and their morning symptoms disappeared. Dizziness, gone. That heavy, sluggish feeling, gone. Unexplained fatigue in the first hour of the day, reduced significantly, because those symptoms were never random. They were signals. Signals that the transition was too abrupt. Now, there are also 3 mistakes that completely cancel out everything we just talked about, and I see these all the time. The first mistake is checking your phone immediately. The second your alarm goes off, you reach for it. Messages, notifications, news, social media. And what does that do? It spikes your brain activity instantly, which triggers more adrenaline, more cortisol, more stress, before your body has stabilized. You've just undone the calm you needed. The second mistake is replacing water with coffee. Coffee is not hydration. It stimulates your system. It increases heart rate. It can slightly dehydrate you further. And if it's the first thing you put into your body, you are adding stimulation to an already stimulated system. Water first, always. The third mistake is thinking, I feel fine, so this doesn't apply to me. This is the most dangerous mindset, because the people who experience sudden events often felt completely fine the day before. This is not about how you feel. It's about what is happening internally, silently. Now I want you to think about tomorrow morning again. Same alarm, same room, same routine waiting for you. But now you have a choice. You can do what you've always done. Move fast. Ignore the transition. Let your body react. Or you can take control of those first moments. Slow down. Guide your system. Protect your heart. It's not dramatic. It's not complicated. But it is powerful. Because your heart does not need perfection. It needs consistency. Small, repeated signals that support it instead of stressing it. And this is one of the simplest signals you can give. Before we finish, I want you to do one thing today. Tonight, before you go to bed, place a glass of water next to you. That's it. You don't need to remember everything else right now. Just start there, because that one action makes the rest of the sequence easier to follow. And tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, you will remember this. You will pause, you will breathe, and you will move differently. And that difference is what your heart feels. If this made you stop and think, If this is something you've never been told before, share it with someone, because there is someone in your life who is waking up every morning doing exactly what you used to do, and they have no idea. Sometimes the smallest information arrives at exactly the right time and changes everything. Take care of your heart. It's been working for you every second of your life. Give it those first few seconds in return.